Well, it looks like we're going to be talking about some Fed talk again. Wouldn't you know it? We'll talk all about it. The market's getting a little bit of a push. Of course, the FOMO starting to hit in on some bull investors. We'll see what happens right now. Up towards 374.51 when this morning we had gotten down to a low of 362.20. Up, what is it now? More than 10 points today? What a rally. Let's talk about it at the close.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
All right, what's going on, team? How we doing out there? Looks like, yes, I do see the DXY down towards that 111. I saw it coming down there, and it got down to as low as 111.88. I see 111.82, and it was as high as 113.90, right? It was trying to get through that high there, trying to get back towards the 114. Definitely took a hit on the downside. And a lot of this coming because, of course, the SPY getting a little bit of a rally. But why did the SPY rally? Well, there was Fed talk again. Wouldn't you know it, team? The Fed coming out and talking? No, they wouldn't, right? Let's talk a little bit about what happened here and what was said. So this came from Fed President Mary Daly, and she was a little flippy-floppy. But, I mean, that's how the Fed has been, right? Fed President Mary Daly indicated during a Q&A at the University of California, Berkeley, that she thinks that the Fed should be looking at reducing the pace of what has been a series of 75 basis point hike rates. Fed President Mary Daly is starting to see to slowing down, taking hold, more tightening is needed. Also need to avoid stopping tightening too early. I don't even understand that one, right? Well, she's saying to slow down the pace, but she's also saying that we can't avoid stopping tightening too early. And she's also saying that more tightening is needed. Seems to me very flippy floppy, but hey, to each his own in their thinking, right? And then, of course, what happened at that spike in the morning? Why did we even get a spike to begin with? Well, the Wall Street Journal was putting out an article this morning indicating that the central bank would be talking about the future pace of rate hikes. Well, let's just be honest. I think they talk about that every FOMC meeting, but seems like that got the market going. And of course, another thing that helped it was the CME group data, the Fed tool, started showing the probability of 75 basis point hike fell to 57.4% following when it was at 75.4%. So looks like some people are thinking that the Fed is ready to pause. Nah, come on, guys. I think everyone's biting into this story a little bit more than they want. But that's how it is, right? The optimism is in this market, and everybody wants the market to go up. I can't blame them, right? Everyone wants to see inflation go away. But the truth is, has the Fed completed their mandate? No, they haven't really. I mean, we're ways away from 2%. And essentially, that was their mandate. Their mandate wasn't to see the economy slowing down, right? That wasn't their choice. They didn't just say, well, we want to slow down the economy. The truth is, what they wanted to do was knock down inflation. And at the FOMC meeting, I'm sure what will be talked about again? Well, are we actually doing what we sought out to do, which was bring inflation down? And inflation truly hasn't come down, at least in the readings that we look at. Even the reading that the Fed likes to focus on, which is the PCE, right? PCE came in hot on the last report. Are they going to change around? I don't know, man. I feel like this is a lot of talk here from the Fed pres, Mary Daly, and it just seems to me like these Feds just have a tendency of doing nothing but talking instead of doing their job and getting inflation down. It just seems to me like, hey, what's going on here, guys? Like, Are we really doing what we're supposed to do? Well, it just seems to me like the talk is what's getting the markets moving versus the actual numbers showing up. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at what else is moving in the markets, but the SPY definitely had a great day. Let's take a look at the sector outlook. What led today? Well, basic materials definitely getting a lift up, and that's not a good thing, right? If steel starts ripping, right? Is that a good thing? No, it's just going to indicate more inflation. But I mean, hey, to each his own, right? Steel getting a big lift today. X having a really good day. Steel Dynamics having a really good day. I saw these stocks having a good day, and I was able to capture a trade on NUE, which was a really good trade. I mean, look at it now, up there towards 135 on the day. Was not a bad day at all in steel. Copper having a good day. FCX taking a nice lift. FCX right here, you can see it, nice little push. I also tend to look at SCCO when I start seeing copper moving. Not a bad trade there. Southern Copper Corp trying to get back through this kind of daily high, start pushing there towards the 50. We'll see if it can actually continue making moves, but not looking too bad right now. All right, what's going on out there? I see change alert in the chat. Shout out to you. Beans for rice, the Schlumberger. We'll see what happens with that one. We'll definitely talk about it. We talked about those this morning, right? We talked about Schlumberger, of course, and we talked about their earnings. And I talked about how this one could potentially move, of course, the stock that loves to run with it, which is Halliburton. And look at that little pop. It wasn't a bad one given to you guys in the pre-market show. That's the relationship that I was looking for. And man, not a bad pop there. Almost a 7% pop. Not having a bad day there in the SPY overall. It was like the 6th leading stock. FCX right there. SLB, of course, we just talked about it. Schlumberger and Moderna having a really good day there, about 8.2%. And then there's this stock that I don't know too much about it. Huntington Bank shares. If you guys know about this regional bank, please let me know, but it looks interesting. HBAN. Haven't heard about it before. Huntington Bank shares, but if you take a look here, I like the levels. I like the outlook. It looks interesting for me. I'm going to definitely keep watch on this one if it can get back into the 15s, but not a bad stock there for a regional bank. All right, let's get into some of those lithium plays. Change agent wants to check some of those out. LAC was one that I was talking about yesterday. Of course, Biden talking about the battery manufacturing and materials. Well, wouldn't you know it? A day after, you get some lithium moves to start making moves. LAC making an 11.84% move. And it wasn't only LAC. We got PLL, right? One of our favorites, getting a nice little lift. This is definitely one of a favorite that I like, and going to take a look to see if this can continue running. But nice setup here for Piedmont Lithium. I still remember when I made this call in early 21. This was actually last year when I called Piedmont Lithium from around 25, and it broke out towards the 55. Eventually ended up going even as high as 85. But these are names that I want to stick with. I want to stick with the lithium plays. In the long run, these are going to definitely increase in price as long as lithium is still needed in the demand that we're looking at. So not a bad stock here, PLL. Of course, you can take a look at LTHM, also getting a little bit of a lift. And then I traded this one earlier in the year, caught a good trade on that one. MP Materials also coming back. We'll see what happens there on MP Materials. But keep your eyes on also some other plays, ALB, SQM, one that I like there. That's the Chile play, and also has some diversification, which is also needed. All right, what's going on out there? Did anyone see you make the all-time low, says Bill. I got you, Bill. I did catch that. I caught the softwares that were making new lows. And that's why I was wondering, was Kathy just going to get crushed today? Because I saw a lot of these software names getting crushed early on the day. But you can see it here. It did make up a lot of those losses out the gates there. You can see it on ARKK also. It was coming down, and then boom, started catching the trend back to the upside. And if you take a look, I mean, there was only about 6 stocks that were red on the ARKK today versus around, let's say, 23 names. So not a bad look there on ARKK. Banks and values, something to keep in watch. Natty Gas going to sub 4, weekly head and shoulders. Oof. UNG, how's that doing? Now down to 1778. Definitely not what we expected to see, and definitely falling off the tape. All right, we'll see what else is going on. Definitely PLL. Wish you the best, change agent. It does look like it's in a nice setup. We'll just have to wait and see if it can make its move. All right, let's keep going. Financial services, the second leading sector up. Where it moved here, of course, you got the global banks, the bigger ones, right? JPM having a 5% day after 2-day pullback, breaking out there through the 120s, now up there towards 122.06. Looks like these banks are shaking off a lot of the recession concerns, and we have to keep these in mind, because if they start shaking off the recession concerns, will other stocks do the same? All right, we'll see what else is going on out there. Hard to be bearish with these two holding up. I agree with you, Jay. Let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. Nice little 2-day side rally, a nice little 2-day pause, and then boom, right back through the earnings high. And now it's closing above it. So if it can hold 320, it's not looking too bad. There is starting to make its way back there. Goldman Sachs having a decent move on the day. Financial stocks not looking too bad after this week. They were thinking that maybe they would start pulling back, but hey, they've held in right now. All right, let's keep looking at some other stocks in the markets. Of course, Netflix reported earnings earlier this week. Look at that close. We're in the shadow zone. That's for certain. I had been drawing this shadow zone for so long. I created this in August 12th, updated it in September 15th, and finally, we're in there. Now Netflix really making its way back. I definitely wanted to partake in this kind of recent rally. Wasn't able to catch it there on, of course, Monday's action. I thought we would go to the 235 to the 245. We got up there all the way to the 250 on that. Then, of course, earnings hit, and boom, we're right back there towards almost looking like 290s right now. Netflix making a huge move up. All right, we'll take a look at Disney with that Netflix move, and I expect to see Disney getting some lift, and there you guys see it, getting up there towards the 102. We'll see if it can actually start getting back towards the 120s. Of course, Walt Disney might run into some walls if we do go into recession, but it is coming back, at least for right now. All right, getting out of Netflix's report. Of course, Apple had warnings earlier in the week, and look where it's at. It's getting back towards that 150 price tag, and that's where I said I would get a little bit more bullish. So let's see what happens. Will we actually get to the 150 closing so we can start looking at Apple a little bit in a more bullish sense, at least for myself? I'll see what happens on Apple overall, but it is trying to come back. Of course, earnings coming up. Let me just go ahead and check. I'm pretty sure next week, but want to go ahead and make sure that we give you guys the correct date here. Yeah, 6 days from now, Thursday, October 27th. So I wasn't crazy in that. October 27th after the market close. We'll see what happens in Apple. All right, we'll see what else is going on. Shorting natty gas here. Be careful. Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you're going after it now, you're kind of late to the party. We'll see what's going on. Snapping, says Hertz. Let's take a look at Snap. Did Snap not even make it back? I mean, it made it back to the VWAP. Eventually started getting back above. Not looking too bad now, but definitely it was not bouncing back quickly. I did see Pinterest kind of doing a very similar chart of that Snapchat. Now, the ones that did come back are like Meta. Meta, I was seeing getting back most of the losses. There you guys see it. Also, Google. Google also got hit, and look where it's at. It's higher than yesterday's close. So there you guys see it. That's what you want to be looking for. A lot of the times it's also when you get these down gaps, can it come back to the prior day's closing price? And you guys always see Joel pointing towards those closing and opening price. This is the reason why. All right. Didn't Mark C tell us that healthcare was a buy yesterday? THC didn't get that memo. Yeah, I mean, THC is a little bit different there. I don't think he was calling THC on that one, Bill. But I'll let you slide with that shot at Mark. THC did definitely take a hard hit. That's 10 net healthcare. Looks like the earnings came in and just got pounded on. I forgot what was the one that this trades with. There's a relationship here play with that THC name, but I haven't played these healthcare names in a long time. Healthcare overall, right? I mean, take a look at it. Medical distribution. What did I point to yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday with Dennis Dick. You guys remember on PreMarket Prep? He asked me, Mitch, what do you like in this market? Well, one of the stocks that I gave him was what? It was in the medical distribution stocks. It was, hey, I start liking Cardinal Health here. I like that Cardinal Health chart. Look at that Cardinal Health chart take off there. I started calling out McKesson. Look at that McKesson take off there. Not looking too bad on those plays. I'm going to keep watching these. These don't look too bad. LEV is another one that I was saying that had a really nice jump. Look at this little pullback opportunity now. We'll see if this can continue pushing. This is the healthcare plan stock. So we'll see if that can get some lift. UNH getting some lift there. We'll see if these can continue pushing. I know you don't like healthcare, but Bill, I don't think he was too far off, but definitely THC wasn't a part of that. All right, let's keep going. If you like these cheeseburgers or like making money, smash that like. Let's go. Definitely a huge reversal in the match group, says Florida. And yes, easy. We love cheeseburgers. That's for sure. If anyone doesn't like a cheeseburger, don't let the door hit you on the way out because, man, you can use a burger right now. All right, match. Let's take a look there. Match definitely falling off the tape. And, I mean, let's just be honest, guys. Recession talks, winter coming. People might want to stay home more than date, right? Maybe, but I don't have too much edge here on the match chart. The only thing I always look at is that I call this the Mitch ticker because MTCH, but we'll see. Match coming down right now. Mitch, come on. Make it bounce. We'll see what happens. All right, Pepsi. That's an interesting call out in the chat. Haven't taken a look at Pepsi probably from their earnings call. And let's see if they've continued the strength. It did pull back a little bit. Looks like it's pulled back, but all the moving averages right around the same level. I do like this chart in a bullish sense. I'll take a look at the weekly. You want to see that weekly get back through last week's high, through that 176 area. If it could close back above that 176, you have that 180 in reach, maybe potentially 200. We'll see what happens there. PepsiCo not looking too bad on the weekly. Daily going kind of sideways, had that little peak right here towards 176. Couldn't close above that 175, 176 range. Let's see if it eventually gets there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going. Who can afford the date? That's the way I was feeling. It's going to be beans and rice. That's it. That's what you're getting for the date. You're going to take her out and you're going to give her beans and rice. That's it. No meat. I got you, beans and rice. You can't go wrong. People say that they virtually date. Yeah, we're going to date in the metaverse, right? We'll see what happens out there. Let's take a look at some other stocks. Glenn bringing an interesting one that I haven't talked about. PubM. PubM is a advertisement company. I have had the company on, the CEO on my show multiple times. I might have to do another reach out for you, Glenn. Maybe see if when I can get Pubmatic back on stock market movers. Really, I've been kind of waiting to get their new earnings report. I'll go ahead and I'll take a look to see when that comes out exactly, so I can take a look and maybe we can line something up here. But definitely going to be watching to see when their earnings report comes out. It looks like it's in November 8th. So stay tuned. I'll do my best, Glenn. I'll try to reach out. Pubmatic, definitely getting off the ground there around the 16. This has provided a lot of support. But the only question here on Pubmatic is, how will advertisement go into the next year? Will they be able to kind of figure out through the environment that we're in right now? And is ad spending going down, or will it come back next year? It's definitely gone down this year, but will it come back next year? Something to keep in mind. We'll see what happens on Pubmatic. Really, what you're looking for now is kind of getting through some weekly highs. Let's get through the 19, make it to 20, And then we can start thinking about 22. And then, of course, earnings will come into play, and we'll see how they do on their earnings report. All right, let's keep going. Virtual, how does that work? Could work for U.S. investors with strong USD. We'll see what else out there. Supposedly, food prices are supposedly to skyrocket this winter due to shortage and inflation. Hopefully not, Vape King. But if they do go and food starts moving, we got to keep our eyes on some of these food stocks, right? Some of the cheaper ones. We'll see what happens there. Procter & Gamble trying to come back this week with their earnings report. They couldn't really kind of hold on. They're just going sideways here. We'll see if some of these value plays actually truly make it back. Of course, CL was selling off, right? This was selling off, but it did get an investor, an activist to jump on in there in Colgate. We'll see what happens on these kind of value trap type of plays. Target, what will they come in with their earnings? They've been sideways for months now. Will they break out of this funk? I have a feeling Target might get it right. We'll just have to wait and see on the earnings report. All right, let's go to some of those oil stocks. They've definitely done well. Oxy continuing the push. XOM continuing the push. Now going to get through those highs. We'll see. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been watching these. A close above 105.33 is what I'd like to see in XOM. And you're seeing it right now at 105.75. And it was like right around here where you started getting into some resistance. Let's see if it closes towards the up part of the range. Let's go to the SPY. SPY starting to top out here a little bit, as I'm sure you're starting to get a little bit of profit take. It's 351. Let's take a look at the closing imbalance. Let me see what we see in the markets right now. How's that closing imbalance? I have 1.6 billion to the sell side. So looks like some people are probably taking some profits. Can't blame them. And taking that money and running, because this is that type of market, right? Doesn't mean that we've had a market bottom here. At least in my eyes, we're still in this kind of sideways range. And even though they're thinking that the Fed might pause, we've talked about that. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. So it looks like some people are hitting the sell button here as we get closer towards the 375 mark. All right, let's take a look at what else is doing. We need more oil from the USA, says JRP. I think there would be a lot of people in the chat that would agree with you, and we'll just have to wait and see if that ever happens. But right now, it's not looking like it's going to happen. All right, let's go to Twitter. How did Twitter perform today after, of course, the mention that that Elon is considering cutting from 7,000 employees to 2,000 employees? Hanging on. It made up a lot of the wall of the worry in the pre-market, but man, it got hit hard on that one. It went down to 43.80s. Let's see what happens on Twitter. Will it start making its way back to 52? Of course, keep in mind, next week, Friday, October 28th, the deadline hits 5 p.m. It's going to need to have closed it. If not, it looks like the court date is going to come back into play. Take the money and run. Market is indeed EXS, and just been that type of market. Sometimes in this market, it's been a lot better to take that profit and head out the door, look for another opportunity. We'll see what happens. What's going on, Said? Saeed, what's up? How we doing? What about Array? You want to take a look at some solar stocks? I got you. All right, Array got a little bit of a pop today, not looking too bad. Let's take a look at some of these solar names, the leaders, right? I've talked about them. First Solar, ENPH, those are the ones you want to be watching, how the overall industry is moving. You want to see these continue to try to take out highs, because if they do, then you can get this solar movement right back up there. You can see how we were going up. We were going up 1, 2, 3. It did that fourth high, and then got crushed right back when it did the throwback. Usually we're going to look for a little bounce there. It didn't give that bounce. It eventually just flushed down through the support. Now we need to recover that 130 and then get through that 140. So those are levels that I would be watching right now. ENPH doing very similar move. It got up there, 1, 2, 3, broke out. Then when it came back to try to hold that level, it couldn't hold that level, and then it started acting as resistance, broke through support. Now we needed to recover, come back to the 300, and that's going to give you the outlook that solar wants to keep going. Now array is a little bit harder. You really need the industry to move to really move array. At least that's what I've noticed. And this is one that I've lost on before. What we got to do is catch it on the uptrend, but the uptrends are very short-lived. That's one thing I noticed. It's like, usually it's like 20 days. You got about 2 weeks to take some profits. That's what I've seen on the trend often on array. I've gotten caught on array before, so we'll see what happens. Right now, you are starting to get a nice bottoming action around the 1450. So that's kind of a level that I would definitely have you watch. You got a couple of wicks down there. You don't want it to go back down there again. You want it to start making its way to 16 if you're a bull in array. Always here for you. I appreciate you coming to watch the show. Watch out on Monday, says BNZMB. We'll have to keep on watch. Tesla, over 1.6 million contracts today. It looks like the YOLOs were in full session today. And well, who really got screwed, and I'm not going to lie, was the people that had some puts before the open, because, man, Wall Street Journal releasing that fluff piece really pushed this market up and got it going in the wrong direction if you had some puts in the market. Just glad I didn't get caught in that move. All right, 356, about to wrap up. You guys throw some tickers if you guys want to check out another stock before we get out of here and wrap up the week. It's been a great one. We had a lot of action, initial jobless claims, whole bunch of earnings, Louis Truss resigning as the UK Prime Minister, Liz Truss. And then, you know, now I think we need to just keep watch to see what's next, right? What's next on the chart? Well, we're going to start working our way into, of course, the November meeting. The November meeting is going to be the 3rd and the 4th of the FOMC. What will we hear then? Well, I don't expect to hear anything other than 75 basis points, and we're here to fight inflation. We'll see what's going on till next week. Like always, team, hit the thumbs up, and you guys can always keep up with Benzinga to keep up on all the action that's going on in the markets, especially throughout the weekend. All right, looks like we'll take one or two more stocks, and then we'll get up out of here. Looks like NVAX. Let's take a look. NVAX getting a little bit of a push today. Of course, Moderna was getting a little bit of a push today. Honestly, I wouldn't be touching NVAX at all, but I mean, to each his own. If you guys like this stock, I just feel like this stock is always late to the game. I mean, they're late to the game in the COVID vaccine, and they're going to be late to the game, I think, in the next move. So I don't know. I don't trust Novavax one bit. All right, let's go ahead. I'll take a look at the SPY, and we'll start wrapping up. It looks like we're about to close. Where are we at? We got about a minute 30 left. Yeah, close to a minute 30 left. We'll see how this can close up. But really, at the end, overall, not a bad move in the SPY. Reiterating, this definitely moved up with the news mention from the Fed Daily, talking about, of course, that reducing the pace of what they've seen in the hike rates. We'll see what happens. A lot of news, like always. You can't get away from the news in this type of market, and you got to be careful with catalysts because it definitely shakes things up. The volatility increasing here, that's not a good thing in my eyes. I think that the volatility increasing every time has led to more of that decline, and I can show you it because look at the charts, right? Every time that we've gotten kind of that high average true range, and you can see it here with the yellow line, a lot of the times it just gets crushed down. And when we've actually had the biggest rips up, it's when the ATR is actually coming down, which is what we're trying to see. Now you're starting to get volatility down at the bottom of the range. We'll see if we're able to shake out of here and really start closing above 380. That's the only time that I'm really going to start getting a little bit more into the bullish tune, because you'll have a chance to run towards the 400. Let's see what happens next week. It's going to be fun to find out. All right, looks like it's 4 o'clock. Looks like we just got the close there. Closing price at 4 o'clock is going to be 374.28, and right below that 375 price point. All right, team, that's going to do it for me. I've had a busy week, a busy day. I hope you guys appreciated all the hard work I try to put in here for Benzinga and for you guys out there, which is really why I do it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, Benzinga has me here, but you guys are the reason why I enjoy to be here. Appreciate you guys always hanging out with me, taking a look at the stocks, and always there for our guests to kind of take a look into their perspective, learn from them, and continue upping your skills in the trading community. I hope that you guys keep pushing forward. We'll be here for you, Benzinga, and keep pushing forward in the financial industry. Much love. Have a great weekend. We'll see if the Finns can bounce back. My man Tua coming back. Just stay healthy, Tua. I need you healthy. We'll see you next time, team. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and definitely enjoy your weekend, guys.